Sierra,
Hotel,
India,
Echo,
Lima,
Delta.
Shield. So, Stomp Wrestling fam, that was our attempt at the iconic six-letter words of Shield. And yeah,
we
it
embarrassed
was
ourselves.
terrible.
We embarrassed ourselves.
But enough about that. The whole reason for this video is to celebrate 10 years of the Shield. My God, guys. Bro, I cannot believe that it has been 10 years since we saw Dean Ambrose, aka John Moxley, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns debut at Survivor Series. I just remember it like it was yesterday. Yes, I'm feeling a little bit nostalgic, but yeah, that's how memories are. That's how memories are. They've had the best rise of the 2010s as rookies,
for sure.
And now they've cemented themselves as household names in wrestling right now. And all three of them are champions in their own rights. Seth Rollins is the United States champion. John Moxley is the AEW World Champion, the first ever three-time AEW World Champion. And Roman Reigns
is the
undisputed champion.
The head of the team of WWE himself.
Exactly.
The king of the company.
Oh, and Stomp Wrestling acknowledges the tribal chief. Let's just make that clear. That clear.
For sure.
And if you don't, then you should. But anyways, so guys, let's talk about the Shield. So, I think we gotta get this out the way. Who was the member that we fell in love with when we saw the Shield first? Who was our favorite member?
Seth Rollins.
Yeah, for me it was Seth as well. I think everybody was a Seth fanboy.
Because the thing is, I know it from NXT.
Me, it was Dean. Really, it was Dean. Yeah.
I always found Dean odd, even after the Shield and during the Shield, and once he went to AEW and became Moxley, I've enjoyed Mox, but as Dean, I always found him odd. I don't know what it was, but just a weird guy.
It kind of fitted with his characters. So
that was the point, I guess.
The unpredictable lunatic fringe at the time.
No, it was the point, but I think for me it was definitely Seth.
Yeah, and let's be honest. Yeah, Roman Reigns also started to get some love. Then he had a spiral back in 2014 throughout. When his controversial rise to the top. Many of us didn't enjoy it, but now look at us now acknowledging him as the tribal chief.
Now he's the biggest thing in wrestling. Who would have said that in 2014, 2015? If someone told me that Roman Reigns was going to be champion for over 2 years in 2014, I think I would have stopped watching wrestling then, before I got to this moment. Because Roman Reigns was a different story back then. A totally different story.
Yeah, Roman Reigns' rise to the top was very questionable because majority of fans didn't like it. But I'm going to be honest with y'all, and you're going to laugh at me, but I kind of liked Roman Reigns. It was just this booking that was very confusing for me.
And he's terrible promos.
I liked him as the big dog. I liked him as the tribal chief now. So call me a Roman Reigns mark for all I care. I just thought the booking was terrible, and there were some room for improvements. But that's the thing about wrestling. There's always room for improvement.
True. And I mean,
and if I had to look at all three members of the Shield at the time, I would have thought that Roman Reigns was going to be the biggest name in there.
You wouldn't, or you would have?
I would have said to you, look, I think Roman Reigns is going to be the one that achieves the most.
Well, he looked like a Vince guy at the end of the day. Let's face it. He looked like a Vince guy.
Yeah, because he was everything that Vince McMahon wanted in a top wrestler.
Exactly.
Seth Rollins had the wrestling, and he had the attitude of a cocky heel, and he could even switch to a babyface that we all liked. Plus, he gave us a memorable Intercontinental Championship title reign in 2018. Most underrated title reign ever. Like,
Probably,
I will
arguably.
die on that heel. I don't care.
Now he's doing the same, or will do the same with the US
And
title.
even gave us. And he even gave us a memorable WrestleMania moment. Who wouldn't remember the heist of the century? If you don't know it, then you're not a true wrestling fan. And if you didn't enjoy it, get the hell out of our channel.
And
actually, before you do that, like, subscribe, and tap on the bell icon, and leave.
And let's not forget, he ended Brock Lesnar's terrible run in 2016. 2017?
Oh.
That terrible run where we saw him once every 3 months.
No, it was...
Whenever it was.
All it was 2019, bro. 2019. That was like...
When he ended it at Mania, and when they opened the show, I'm just glad that he ended that run, because that was a nightmare.
Yeah, because I was getting tired of Brock Lesnar. I really was.
Who wasn't? Tired of not seeing him. That's the problem. Tired of not seeing him.
Yeah, so. And and let's be real, the Shield brought back most fans back to wrestling. They even brought me back, because there was a time where I stopped watching wrestling, and I was like, oh.
Yes.
Then I tuned in to Survivor Series. I'm like, what the? Okay, so Cena's losing. Punk is getting defeated, and then this bald-headed Ryback is gonna win the title, and I'm like, okay, who's this guy? And then I don't know, three gents in turtlenecks. Yes, they were wearing turtlenecks. We'll excuse the fact that they were wearing turtlenecks.
It was the only time they wore turtlenecks, so we'll excuse it.
Yeah. Then they just started beating the cock out of Ryback, and I'm like, hey man, who are these three gents? And why do they look so badass? That was my initial thoughts. That was
damn
my
good
initial
debut.
thoughts.
It was a damn good debut. Let's be honest. That debut cemented the rest of their legacy from then onwards.
Exactly. And even they had a quick rise when they even won gold at Extreme Rules 2013. It was Dean with the US Championship, Rollins and Reigns as the tag team champions. And to this day, Dean Ambrose is still the longest reigning United States champion, even though he never really defended it a lot, and most of his victories were either count out or DQ. But hey, that's still a remarkable achievement for Mox.
Yeah, still holds the record. It's something you forget about, that he's the longest reigning US champion. It's actually a crazy thought. I completely forgot.
Most of the time when I see, most of the time when I was watching the Shield around when they were together, I was like, Dean Ambrose is still US champion. Jesus.
Yeah, the mid-card title was so forgotten during the PG era. Either you had it for a long time, or it was changed every 2 weeks. So let's be honest.
Yeah, it was how the Attitude Era was being booked with mid-card titles.
Yeah, same thing.
But let's be honest. Also the rivalries. Let's talk about the rivalries, guys. They threw a bunch of makeshift tag teams together to beat down the Shield. And they had an undefeated streak for such a long ass time. And the first time that they lost, the team, I think Daniel Bryan and it was Bryan, it was Kane and Orton.
Yeah, Bryan, Kane, and Orton.
And they got such a pop. Yeah, it was those guys that defeated them. And they got such a pop. I was like, yo, these gents actually lost. Bro, I would have been fine if they had an undefeated streak, for real.
Yeah, but
I would have been so fine with that.
Team Hell No, because Team Hell No was pretty over during that time as well. So
who can forget about Team Hell No?
Exactly.
Who can forget about Team Hell No?
Exactly.
All right. And also, the fact that WWE even trusted these gents to go up against one of the best factions in WWE history, Evolution, and beat them twice, might I add.
Yes, they beat them
twice.
in the pay-per-view.
They beat them at Extreme Rules
and
2014. And Payback. and eliminated all three of them. That was
Crazy.
crazy. That was crazy.
And Batista quits.
Yeah, that's a story for another day.
Yeah,
That's a story
yeah.
for another day. But also they feud with the Wyatt family, which was
Yes,
pretty
but the thing is,
enjoyable. I
they
still
should have
think-
won at the
I still
Elimination
think-
Chamber. They should have won at the Elimination Chamber at the time.
But also, the Wyatt family was starting to get connection from the crowd, so I kind of understand why they lost. But I still think that they should have gone up against each other at WrestleMania 30. That
for
would
sure.
that is a WrestleMania worthy match.
Not
for
at
sure.
Battleground or Payback or whatever they were at where they faced each other. That should have been WrestleMania main event through and through.
Oh, the triple threat match for themselves. Yes, that is definite.
Yeah.
Oh, and yeah, we're getting to now that we talked about the good, let's talk about them breaking up. Oh boy, my
I
God,
was shocked. Yes.
man, I will tell you now that Seth Rollins broke me that day when he betrayed the Shield, bro. He broke me so bad. 2014 was such a time for me because I had to witness The Undertaker being defeated at WrestleMania, and then Seth Rollins turns on the Shield. I was like, what the fuck is going on? What is going on?
Yeah,
But-
that turn is probably still one of the biggest and best heel turns ever.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you
Oh, yeah.
had to make a list, that's definitely top 3. Top 2.
Yeah,
So-
I wouldn't even be mad at you if you said that.
Yeah.
Which I also have it there. I also
Exactly.
have it there. And that heel turn led to great things for Rollins, as well as Ambrose and Reigns. Even though Ambrose was a little bit lost in the shuffle between the three men. Like he had
But
that, like he had a
Yeah.
like he had a feud with Rollins. Like sure, they had a great feud from SummerSlam and Hell in a Cell 2014, where they both fell from the cell. That still gives me goosebumps. And also, yeah, Reigns was also at that time was also lost in the shuffle. I think it was 2014 because they didn't know what to do with them. Then all of a
But
sudden,
the fans loved him most at the time.
yeah,
Questionable.
it's crazy. It's crazy.
Questionable. Yeah, but Dean eventually found his way. When was it? 2016, 2017?
Yes,
On SmackDown.
16.
2016.
2016. SmackDown beating AJ Styles and had some good matches there as well. That just brought up some James Ellsworth memories, but anyway. We
Yeah,
we
please
can
don't
move
talk
on.
about that chinless loser. Please no.
We can move on from that. But but yeah. So,
Also the reunions that they had. Like there was even a time where we saw a teaser reunion I think it was Payback 2015 or whatever pay-per-view it was,
no, it
where
was
they
Survivor
triple
Series.
powerbombed Randy Orton.
Survivor Series.
Now I'm talking about before Survivor Series 2016.
Okay.
There was a time when they triple powerbombed Randy Orton through the announce table. Like it was a fatal four-way for the championship. And Seth Rollins was champion at the time. They triple powerbombed Randy Orton through the table. Then they had their mini Shield reunion. Rollins goes in for the fist bump, and I'm like, my guy, please
Not
don't
you.
think you're cool. Please don't think you're cool with these niggas.
Yeah.
Please don't. And can we just talk about how criminal it was not seeing Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns as tag team champions? Like I don't know how they didn't win those belts together. Because wow.
Yeah. Are you talking about when Seth was trying to like reunite with them and they were teaming up Roman and Dean at that? Are you talking about that time?
Nah, when Seth was at the top and he was with the Authority.
Oh, okay. So you're talking about back then. Okay.
Yeah. Because Dean and Roman were still together. They were still kind of like the Shield.
Suppose if you look back at it now, we can say, how did they not do this? How did they not do that? But it all worked out perfect in the end. You know, They're
look
all
at them
champions
now.
right
Look at them now.
Exactly. And can we just give a shout out to that I mentioned, Anna, that Survivor Series match where they also triple powerbombed. I can't remember who it was in the end. When Dean was on the SmackDown and Roman and Rollins.
Oh, it was
all...
Styles. It was AJ
Yeah,
Styles.
Styles.
Yeah.
Because
That's
they feuded
probably
at
the
that
greatest,
post.
the best Survivor Series match, you know, the elimination match of all time, and it's mainly down to those three men. So
I'd argue and say it was 2019, but yeah, 2016 deserves a shout. 2016 definitely deserves a shout.
yeah.
Oh, and
So,
also
yeah.
they had a rivalry with the New Day for the year after when they reunited, when they properly reunited.
Survivor Series.
Mhm. Also, Neff, there's one, and we gotta talk about the most criminal thing in the world. Dean Ambrose's heel turn.
Yeah, man,
Oh,
come on.
oh my God.
They gave my
How
man
do
a
you,
gas mask. Like, why?
They're just bullshit.
that would have worked out so well in the Thunderdome era. Let's be real. That would have worked so well.
Maybe. That was just terrible, though.
Why
But then we
did
wouldn't have got John Moxley. So maybe we should be thankful
Bro.
for that heel turn. Because we wouldn't have had Moxley.
I'm gonna be
today.
honest with you. I did not want Dean Ambrose to turn heel. I'm gonna say it. I didn't want him to turn heel
Me
that
too.
time.
I did because he was kind of stale. He was kind
Yeah,
of very stale at that time. Something needed to change. He was starting to look stupid with his whole lunatic fringe gimmick. It was starting to come across as stupid
His
rather than...
hairstyle cut.
Yeah, because when he returned, he came back muscular and jacked up, and I thought, okay, I'm expecting a serious Dean Ambrose. I'm expecting something.
But he was
I'm
still the
expecting
silly...
badass.
But he was still the silly lunatic for a while. So
Yeah,
something
feel
needed
you.
to
I feel
change,
you.
but they didn't change it the right way.
Yeah, like the time they did it was actually pretty dope. Because who turns heel on a night where your brother announces he has leukemia? My God,
It's
bro,
in hindsight, it's pretty dope because we know Roman recovered. But if Roman didn't recover, then we'd be here sitting here saying that he turned heel the night his friend got diagnosed with leukemia and then he died. Like, so in hindsight, it's pretty dope. But if you think about it, it was risky.
Yeah, it was. Hey, but you know what they say: no risk, no reward.
Yeah,
And
true.
Moxley didn't get a reward, so
He didn't.
Yeah,
He really didn't.
whatever. But yeah. Also, they had their last dance together at what you call it, Elimination Chamber 2019. Like they went up against Lashley, McIntyre, and Corbin. Reason, yeah, and they won that match. Because if I didn't see the Shield beat those niggas, please, I would have thrown a fit.
Let's also give a shout out to honorary Shield member Kurt Angle. Because he had a couple matches.
Honorary Shield member Kurt Angle.
Honorary Shield member. He had a couple matches with the Shield when someone was out. I think it was Roman. No, someone was out, injured, or sick.
Yeah, it was Roman.
It was Roman.
It was Roman.
So honorary Shield, and I think Triple H also filled in at some point. So yeah, honorary
was that a
members.
live event for some
Was it a live
reason?
event? Okay. But Kurt Angle filled in at a pay-per-view. I remember that.
Yeah,
I think more than
it
one
was a
actually.
live event.
So
Oh yeah,
honorary member.
no, it was just one.
Was it one? Maybe it's another match on Raw or something. I don't know. I remember more than one event.
Oh yeah.
Anyways.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. And then we all know Ambrose left in 2019 and is doing good things right now in AEW, like we mentioned. And also 2019 was also the year Roman wasn't involved in the title picture a lot because he still came back from leukemia and he was in some questionable feuds with McIntyre, Shane McMahon, and Baron Corbin. But he did give me Roman Reigns versus Buddy Murphy still the best, one of my favorite SmackDown matches ever.
Oh, such a good match.
Thank you.
Such a good match.
Yes. I put that as like one of my top 3 favorite SmackDown matches ever. Number 1 is still Edge versus Eddie Guerrero, no DQ 2002. Go watch that if you haven't.
Great match. Great match. So yeah, what
And-
more is there to say about the Shield? I mean, they changed the business. They came in, they made an impact. And they're still all on top. What, 10 years later? What reunion is this? 9 years.
Yeah,
They should.
it's 10. It's 10.
Yeah,
10
10
year
years.
anniversary. So
Yeah.
what more is there to say?
There's not a lot. Like, just thank you, Shield, I guess. Thank you.
For sure.
And no, they haven't retired. In case you casuals are here, they haven't retired. They're still. We just thank them for the memories that they made, and thank you for a time for bringing us back.
They should
into
induct him
wrestling.
into the future Hall of Fame.
Oh, they
Oh,
will
for
be.
sure.
They will be. Well, Mark's questionable, but we'll see.
Now I feel like,
Triple H isn't so petty, so
yeah, if it was Vince, yeah, no chance in hell, pun intended.
yeah. Let's hit that outro and just thank the Shield, I guess, for the memories.
So
Thank you, Shield.
Thank you, Shield. Moxley, Roman, Seth, if you guys are watching this, thank you guys so much for bringing us good memories, and thank you for being one of the best trios ever. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please stomp on that like button, stomp that subscribe button, and stomp on that bell icon to be notified when your favorite Stomp Boys appear next on your screen. And also, if you want to stay in touch with Stomp Wrestling, please follow us on all our social media platforms. Links are in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. And fellas, in honor of the Shield, I guess we gotta take the Too Sweet for a break and just put our fists up and say this. Believe in Stomp Wrestling.